Well, hello. Good evening. Welcome to When Wisdom Talks. I'm Alisha.
And I'm Kadesha.
And I'm Naomi, and welcome to When Wisdom Talks. Another Thursday that we're hanging out with you. And also, guess what? Welcome back. We took a little bit
Yay.
of a rest period, but we are back and we're so excited to be spending this time with you, all of us. Rest is essential. It's important for our
Mhm.
overall well-being, and I hope you all took some time to rest. And what about you two ladies? Were y'all able to get some rest?
Is it two or three of us?
The three of us, but it's you
We
two.
got the Holy Spirit is here.
Yeah, maybe that's who I'm counting. The Holy
Okay.
Spirit.
That's it. That's
I'll
it.
take it because it does look like you got a church behind you, honey. You look like you in
Oh,
a.
The
oh,
window. I love it.
Yes,
Oh
but
man.
I feel like I did get a little bit of rest. I feel like in my eyes, I slowed down. Maybe from other people looking, maybe not, but it felt slower for
mhm.
me.
What about
Well,
you, Alicia?
hopefully you got it for me.
Yeah, I say that I did take some rest. If nothing else, I was able to focus on myself and my overall
Mhm.
well being and some things
Yeah.
that I really want to do and I'm planning to do. So sometimes
Yeah.
that's what you need during that rest period so that you can really reflect. Because when your time is filled with so much stuff, you're overwhelmed. Your mind isn't clear enough to even think about some of the things you want to do going forward. So I hope all of you, all of our Win Wisdom Talk supporters had some time to reflect and to be refreshed. And we are back and ready to have some fun with y'all tonight. Of course, we always have a great show planned for y'all. We take the time and think of all these creative things to talk about with all of you. And tonight is no different. Of course, this episode and all episodes are sponsored by Wisdom on the Wall and Be Inspired Global Network. And our mission is to empower all of you to live better and wiser through engage in discussions like the one we're going to have
Mhm.
tonight, fun activities, and the bomb special guests because we always have the best guests on when Wisdom Talks. And so I'm just glad that we have another evening to spend with y'all, and I
Yay.
hope y'all enjoyed this show. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it on over to Kadesha.
Thank you. Girl, you hyped it up. I'm like, oh, who's our special guest tonight? That would be us. But no, we do have a lot of amazing guests, including the three of us. I think we're pretty amazing as well. So, welcome to the month of August. Yes, we are here back. Somehow we got to August again. I don't get it. I just feel like the months, the weeks, everything is just going so fast. But we're here. The sunshine is definitely letting us know we're in August. I mean, I don't know about you guys, where you guys tuning in from, but here in Maryland, it's been 80, 90 degrees. And it's like you can't even walk to the trash can without busting a sweat. So it's been hot. But welcome to August and welcome back to the show. We are excited. Every month, we have a theme. Okay, so this month, our theme is back to business. And we want to encourage you, pick back up whatever you need to be picking back up, honey. So, whatever business you need to get back to, if it's cleaning your house, excuse me while I tell on myself, if it's starting your business, if it's going back to school, whatever you need to get back to, you are anointed for business. So, we are encouraging you to get back to business. And this week specifically, we are highlighting Black businesses because it is August is Black Business Month. How amazing and how exciting. I didn't even know. So, we're going to highlight this episode. We're highlighting a business that we want you to know about, and we hope that you will patronize in one way or another. But before we get there, I got my phone in my hand because I need to go ahead and share the show. And so we want to encourage you to share. It takes 2.5 seconds to share, to talk back to us, to do hashtags, all of that great stuff. If you're not following us already on Instagram, we're going to encourage you to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at When Wisdom Talks. Of course, we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. When Wisdom Talks. And if you want to stay connected with us, and if you want to give us an encouraging message, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want to donate, if anything you want to do outside of our When Wisdom Talk hour, you can reach out to us at info@wisdomonthewall.com, or you could go directly to our website, wisdomonthewall.com, whatever is easier for you. So I am going to kick it over to Miss Alisha.
Woohoo! Awesome. Well, welcome to our
Tell me something good.
Cool Beans, Naomi. So this is our Tell Me Something Good segment, and as it said, we're going to tell you something good. We consider ourselves to be bearers of good news. You hear bad news throughout the day on the radio, depending on the station you're looking at. You may hear it on TV, but we want to be your bearers of good news. So tonight we're going to share some good stories, maybe some good ideas, whatever it is. The underlying key word is GOOD, good. And I'll go ahead and kick us off. And in light of our topic of back to business and August being Black Business Month, I want to highlight he's a business owner in his own right. He's an artist, 35-year-old Desmond Blair. And the interesting thing about him, if you look at on the left-hand side, that's his artwork. But his story is just amazing. If you look at his left hand there, well, actually, it's not a hand. You just see his wrist. He was actually born without two hands. And the amazing thing about him, as I mentioned, that is his artwork on the left-hand side. That is oil on canvas. And the awesome thing about his story is that he was born again without the two hands, and the one thing he never uses is the word disability. And I've often hear people say differently able, and in his instance, his mom and his grandmother were adamant about him not taking on being differently able, and so he wanted to learn how to write. He wanted to learn how to draw. And what his mother and his grandmother said is, we're going to allow you to find a way. So he came up with using his wrists to actually, first and foremost, start using a pencil. And he talks about how he loved cartoons, and his love of cartoons at such a young age, he wanted to actually draw the cartoons. So he moved from his pencil to actually crayons, and he started drawing the cartoons that he watched. And they noticed that he had a gift. And the wonderful thing about his mother and his grandmother was that in noticing the gift, they actually put him in an art program. And he's from Dallas, Texas, and he went through this program and found his passion. And the awesome thing about his story is that his mentor and his wife actually owns a gallery. So they commissioned him to do, and there, if you go online and you search him out, Desmond Blair, there'll be some great videos that go more in detail about him. But also he did this piece on his version of Eve and the Black woman, and it's just phenomenal. But I don't want you to forget that he's using his wrist to actually create these things. Now, I don't know about any of you. I am not the most artistic person with my two hands in and of themselves. I don't know if you've ever done that challenge where you've tried to write with your less dominant hand, and I'm challenged in doing that, much less being able to put oil to canvas and come out with some wonderful creations like that. But I thought his story was so appropriate for today, because when you talk about being an artist, again, you're in business for yourself, but he embodies the heart of an entrepreneur. Because when you think about an entrepreneur has to be creative, have to be passionate. And when you talk to his mentors, they talk about the passion that he has for what he does. You got to be motivated. But the other thing is you got to be adaptable. And think about it. He was really adaptable in terms of not having his hands and being able to create the masterpieces. So I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Desmond Blair for doing his thing when it comes to art and not allowing limitations to hold him back. So kudos to you, my friend.
Wow. Oh, I actually liked the word differently able. And you
Yeah.
said they encourage him not to use that?
No, he doesn't use the word disabled. He doesn't
Oh,
like the
okay.
word disability, and
Okay.
he actually uses the word limb different. But I
Okay.
was saying I've heard people use the term differently abled, which I
Yes.
think you're still able. I mean, look, he's better than some people who have
Wow.
both of their hands. Like I said, I can't do anything like that, and he's using his wrist, and it's amazing. That's why I said go Google him and see the videos to see him actually doing this. I mean, he uses shadows and lighting. It's just phenomenal. And you can't help but look at him and think, the things that I'm complaining about, the things that I consider obstacles or impediments are nothing compared to what this young man actually has overcome to become such a phenomenal artist. So yeah, it struck me to the core.
I think our culture has taught us that disabilities is a limitation.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's refreshing to have a support system that tells you otherwise, that it's not a limitation. You just have to be
Yeah.
creative and figure out other ways to do what you need to do. And I think that's something we can all learn from, that
Yes.
even though we may not have visible uh, differently abled circumstances, we all have them to some degree,
Yes.
and we all have to be creative and figure out how we can still do things even despite of or in spite of.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why I love that terminology, because this is my first time hearing it. Because for me, I always resonate with in the Bible where God talks about Caleb and calls him different. You know what I mean? Like he gave him a different spirit, is what the word tells us. And so as a result of that spirit, he was able to do something that other people weren't doing. That was inherit the promised land. And so it's like when people have these differently able situations,
Mm-hmm.
the other senses are heightened, right? Or like Naomi said, like there's a different level of creativity that kicks
Mm-hmm.
in that I may not have to use now. Like you said, I got two hands, honey, and I don't have nothing on him when it comes
No.
to art. But God made us all different and all unique, and it's like that was amazing to
Mm-hmm.
see, and just the level of adversity and obstacles that he has overcome, like as an artist, like that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, just shout out to it. Well, unfortunately his mother passed away 2 years ago due to ALS. But they were doing a story on him because he wants to paint her picture, and he said he had to be in the right frame of mind to do that because he calls her his muse. She was his inspiration, and I just give shout out to parents who are able to instill in their children that tenacity, that ability to do something different, because it
Yeah.
all boiled down to what his mother and his grandmother actually instilled in him. So
Yes, yes. So speaking of parents, I feel super blessed. I feel like my head is spinning, and everywhere I turn, there are more parents of my friends are becoming parents, and it's like popping up every time I turn around. It's like, hey, we're expecting, and this is I'm sharing this for two reasons. One, I have a lot of friends who are, what society would consider older, and are still in that place of waiting, such as myself, right? And so when I see my older friends getting pregnant, it's like it really is inspirational. And I use that because they can get discouraged. And I have one person in mind, and I'll have to text her when I get off of here. But so I'm excited. First of all, I'm like sending diapers left and right from Amazon, right? So diapers and the wipes. That's kind of like our go-to because you always need those. So I have a baby shower to go to this upcoming Saturday. I don't think we've had her on the show yet. She's our black dentist. Actually, I could have highlighted her. But so anyway, all these babies are popping up. Pastor Abby, who we've discussed before. And so I'm excited because I know when God is moving me in a different chapter, like he'll have all these people pop up around me. So I am making room for the baby blessing whenever the baby blessing comes. But I'm just excited with all these friends of mine all these baby showers, everything. It's like, it's a lot going on right now. And I just talked to my other friend yesterday. Actually, we've been friends since middle school, maybe high school, and she's had some differently able challenges, and even in spite of that, God is blessing. So that is my tell me something good. It is babies all over the place, and I'm excited. And y'all get ready. Y'all be auntie soon enough.
I'm waiting. I can't wait. I love being somebody's auntie. That's because you can spoil them and then send them back
and
home.
then send them back.
Hey, baby, here you go. All the stuff your parents said you can't have, and then send them back home.
Load them up with the candy and send
Yeah.
them back hyper.
Yes. That's the joy of being an auntie. I remember the fond memories I have of my own aunties, and boy, did they do everything that my mother said don't do. But it was a pleasure for us because we got to be something we couldn't be at home just for a little bit. But so just both of you actually, your stories kind of interconnect with mine. One with an extraordinary person, and then talking about a baby. So my story is about, she is a lifeguard, 18-year-old lifeguard, helps deliver a beautiful baby boy on YMCA pool deck. And so her words are, so glad the baby is okay. That's all she cared about, was that the baby was okay. I'm going to show you a picture of this cute little bundle of joy. There the baby is. I was so tickled by that. First of all, that this young 18-year-old girl lifeguard could actually deliver the baby. And so the article says, talk about an eventful shift. A teen lifeguard in Colorado went above and beyond last month when a YMCA member went into labor on the pool deck, y'all. On the pool deck. So she out there, she trying to get her last hurrah in, and all of a sudden them contractions hit. Oh my Lord. So look, get ready, Kadesha. Get ready, as TG Jakes would say. But so the comment was, we knew the baby was coming. We just didn't know if it was going to be a week, 2 weeks, or today. And this is the mother, Tessa Ryder, who was 9 months pregnant with her third child when she and her husband visited their local YMCA. So she was trying to get her last hurrah in. And, I know how that is. And a lot of us parents do when there's a child getting ready to be born and you're trying to hurry up and do all that you can before that sweet bundle of joy gets here, because they turn your world upside down, inside out. Whatever you thought you were going to do, honey, you ain't going to do, because they take over your entire world. But congratulations to Tessa and her family, and to that wonderful young lifeguard who helped to bring that life into this world. And so it's just refreshing to know that stories like that is still happening, and that people are doing kind things for each other. I mean, because that lifeguard could have said, you know what, just breathe, and I'm gonna call 911.
You're like, that ain't in my job description.
I'm gonna call 911. But lifeguards are trained to be able to handle all sorts of different situations. So it's just refreshing to know these things are still happening out there.
You know what is so funny? So this morning, at the Orange Theory, and for whatever reason, I'm there at 5 a.m., but I'm talking to a mom. She's a recent mom. She just had her second baby 8 weeks ago. And I said, why are you here at 5 a.m? Like, you are everybody's motivation. But so her older baby, I think, is 2, and the baby is 8 weeks. So I don't know. And talking to her, she was showing me pictures. We just catching up after the class. But I just was thinking, like, how long did she come in here and work out prior to having a baby? Because if anybody's like me, it's like you said, you always just want to fit one more thing in. Like,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's like, what happens if somebody's on the treadmill and then goes into like labor? I was just having that vision. Like, I hope this lady wasn't in here at 9 months. Like, knowing her, if she's here 2 months after the baby, like, she was probably here 9 months. So it's like, do you have a cutoff in your head? Like,
no, I'll just say this, that if generally you're having a healthy pregnancy, you can still work all the way up until it's time to deliver. A lot of women do. However, some women have complications, which, causes them to have to pull back on some things, bed rest, things like that. Obviously, you need to take it easy because you have a baby in there, but you're not unable to do things. In fact, some women in their third trimester get an extra boost of energy. Like I know for me, it was like I started wanting to clean up my house. It's called nesting. Starting to get you want to put the crib together. You want to do all these things. You get this extra boost of energy to prepare for pushing or whatever the case is going to be. But there are some people who work all the way up until, unless you are having some, complications. But either way, you still need to be careful. You do.
Well,
I was just thinking about I was just thinking about the 18-year-old. You think, I don't know if she's going to be a senior or if she's graduated or whatever, but you know how you go back and you talk about what did you do for the summer, and everybody's talking about vacation, or you're like, I delivered a baby. What y'all did was nothing. It's just like,
that is funny. That's hilarious. I got a whole bunch of stories for that, but we ain't supposed to be talking about babies tonight. I don't know. Maybe somebody need to get back to business and go ahead and make a baby. I don't know. But
you said, don't let us interrupt you.
Yeah. And then the lifeguard's name, her name is Natalie Lucas.
Natalie. Kudos, yes. Natalie.
Yes. Love it.
Okay, I'm going to say this one thing and we're going to move on. So I did meet this one couple, right? And they was saying how at home, I don't know what they were doing, but somehow the fiance or boyfriend or whatever end up delivering the baby, and the baby literally just popped out. So my mind goes to Martin, and they was like, yeah, it was just like that, the episode of Martin, the baby popped out. I was laughing so hard. It was so hilarious. But everybody's good. The baby's good, the mom is good. So you know what, when they ready, they're ready. Okay,
they are. Like I said, it depends on the mom, and a lot of moms they will go all the way up to the last minute doing whatever and go into labor. It just is what it is, especially if it's like their second or third child. They're used to the rodeo, I guess, but
girl, that one, I
love it.
Chris, you watching that one there? She be back to work at 2 days after the baby pop out. Lord have mercy. Girl, Alisha, wrap us up.
Look, all right. So we're gonna leave the babies alone at the moment, and we're gonna just actually, I'm kicking it back over to you anyway, Kadesha. So you go ahead and take it away and take us into this next segment. Take us away from the babies.
Let us remind you what we're talking about tonight, which is what the theme for the month of August is back to business. But tonight's theme is highlighting Black businesses. So I'm really excited to hear about the businesses that you guys are going to highlight. But I just want to kind of kick it off with this. I recently rewatched Hidden Figures, and you would think I haven't seen it how many times? 3, 4, 5, I don't know. But I guess at that moment, I just needed that sense of like empowerment, right? And so I'm watching this movie and just amazed at these 3 brilliant African-American women working at NASA in the 60s and really playing an instrumental role in launching a man into outer space. It just baffled me, right? And so I really value that movie because they were taking these hidden figures and bringing them to the forefront, right? Because they played a pivotal role. Like if it wasn't for their calculations, if it wasn't for their hard work or their labor, like this wouldn't have been made possible. And so essentially that's what we want to do tonight with these 3 businesses that we're going to highlight. We want to just bring them to the forefront, highlight some people who you may or may not have heard of, and not have these businesses be so hidden, right? But just be brought to the front. And we want to support and patronize these businesses. And we encourage you. That's what we want to encourage you to do. So I'm excited. I guess, I don't know. Am I kicking it off? Do you want me to kick it off? Who wants to kick it off? Okay. Okay. No, go ahead. Cause you got a few. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I'll go first. I'm really excited about this first, I'll say, duo. because I have children and I'm always encouraging them to be creative and use their gifts some sort of way. And so these two, I'm going to pull them up. Cute as can be. They are called the Lemonade Twins. The Lemonade Twins. They are adorable.
Oh,
Oh my God. When I first saw their picture and then read the article, I was like, you know what, this is just too cute. So first I want to give a shout out to their parents, because the fact that they are doing this means that they have parents who saw something in them and an opportunity in them to help them to grow and expand and to even launch out into entrepreneurship. So let me just tell you a little bit about them. Their names are Faith and Malia Jeffcoat. Now, I don't know which one is which. I wish I could tell you, but they are identical twins. Faith and Malia are the owners of the Lemonade Twins, where they make some of the best lemonade in the Carolinas. So that's what's been said about them. The twins travel around the state serving and selling their homemade ice cold lemonade and have been nominated for awards and featured at several community events around the Midlands. And they said you can follow them on Facebook at the Lemonade Twins. So just go on Facebook. You can look them up. They've been featured on local news channels, you name it. But these two beauties are out there making moves with the Lemonade Twins, and they are looking to expand. Their parents are helping them. Typically, when they go onto these local news stations, they're showing the audience how they make their lemonade, and their mother is right there with them supervising, but she gives them the floor. She lets them do their thing, and they're like little scientists and chemists when they're doing it. It's the cutest thing. Like, you see them with their little ingredients, and they're taking their tongs and putting it together, and it's so adorable. But that just goes to show that you're never too young. If you have the right guidance and you have the right support, you're never too young to start your own business, or too old for that matter. So that's the first one I have.
I
The
love it.
Lemonade
I
Twins.
love it. Like you said, you're never too young to start. And I think, again, giving a shout out to the parents who are instilling that in them, giving them the opportunity to pursue entrepreneurship, or if not, can go the traditional route of college, and you can still do that either way. But I just love giving them that opportunity to pursue entrepreneurship. It's just so many gifts and skills that are being developed in them because of this venture, so wonderful.
I
Look
love
at the
it.
twins.
Look, I love it. We need a glass of lemonade. I'm a little parched right now. I could use some of the Lemonade Twins. But on the opposite spectrum, but kind of similar in the same industry, I wanted to highlight Mamas in the Kitchen. And there we go. And so Mama's in the Kitchen, she is older, and it's a little small, but she's in the middle with the black hat. And I know her story personally because this is my good friend's mother. And so Miss Tyra Chandler is the owner of Mama's in the Kitchen. It was established in 1998. So 24 years. But I know like when my friend was growing up, my Miss Tyra put the business on the back burner. So she's a whole mother, a whole wife, a whole grandmother. But I've seen her business really thrive over the last few years. So she does catering, so soul food catering, okay, and the food is delicious because we've used her for some of our events. But also, if you're in a ShopRite in Delaware or in Pennsylvania, she also has product on the shelf, and some of this product you can see now, and it's so delicious. So she has seasonings, so French fry seasoning, which I love my fries, and then she has breading for chicken, fish, and shrimp. And so it's all called, and I'm telling you, barely can get any because as soon as it gets on the shelves, it's gone. And so in this top middle picture here, she's actually catering an event for Tina Campbell with Mary Mary. So she's been featured in different magazines. She has, thank you, Naomi, for making that bigger. She has been on TV. She has worked with celebrities. but she is really like just a down to earth mom and wife. Like I love Miss Tyra. Like that was one of our places we would hang, coming up. Lauren, her daughter, and I cheerleaded together. We're really good friends. And just to see Miss Tyra never give up on her business and her family support her husband, and it was just a lot of sacrifice. And if I remember correctly, they did do a storefront at one point. We have something, well, in New Jersey, there's something called Cowtown. And so she had a storefront, I believe, in Cowtown. But she has just been working this business, and I'm so proud of her. And it's, first of all, and it's good, honey. And it's funny because I've been trying to tell my dad in Philadelphia, if you can, pick up some mamas in the kitchen. It's never available. So as soon as it hits the shelves, it's gone. So if you're able, you can definitely take part if you're in like Delaware and Philadelphia. I think that's all the two states that she's in right now in terms of ShopRite. But it's Mamas, plural, in the kitchen. And she is on Facebook and she's on Instagram. And so you can find Miss Tyra Chandler on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, online. But it's so good. So good. So yeah, the soul food and the lemonade. We can have that together.
You got your food and your drink. It looks good. It looks good. Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and jump in. Now I don't have a picture for you, so so my business that I'm highlighting is Scholly. And the owner of Scholly is Christopher Gray. And Scholly is actually the #1 scholarship app in the world, not just in the US, but in the world. They actually have helped hundreds of thousands of students actually gain over $100 million worth of scholarship money. And this resonated with me because, we all know the importance of higher education for those who want to take that route. But one of the big obstacles is the whole issue of money. And the fact that this is a African-American guy who came up with this idea is wonderful. And his story is really great because he actually grew up in poverty, unfortunately, in Birmingham, Alabama. He's the son of a single mother. And it was during his junior year where he was trying to actually find scholarships. And because they didn't have a computer at home, thank you, Naomi. See, you are on it. So they didn't have a computer at home or internet. So he would go to the local library. And at that time, it was limited resources. And he would do hours and hours of searches for scholarships. But it all paid off because he actually graduated with $1.3 million in scholarships that he was actually able to use and go to Drexel University in Philly. And he majored in finance and entrepreneurship. And the great thing about his story is that because of the challenges that he went through in trying to, find scholarships and the rewards that came from the diligence, he started thinking about how can I help other people who may not have all the resources. And what he figured was most people have a phone, no matter what. Some people have a phone. So he came up with the idea of the mobile app. And his business, he started back in 2013, but I was just recently reminded of his appearance on Shark Tank back in 2017. And it was such a clamor for his idea because he went in there with a request for a $40,000 investment, giving 15% equity in his business. And because the idea was phenomenal, the sharks were like literally fighting over him. And he picked Damon John. And then what ended up happening was Lori Greiner was like, look, let's split this. So he split it. Damon split it with her. So they actually both gave him $20,000 for 7.5% equity in his business. But I just love the fact that he took which could have been an impediment for him, and unfortunately is for a lot of people, not having the resources to be able to go to school. And he took what he learned in terms of being able to find the grants and scholarships and applied for them, and actually turned it into a lucrative business that is actually helping people. And it resonated with me because, I just think back to high school. If it wasn't for the fact that I had that great guidance counselor, Mr. Nichols, who, when these scholarships were coming across his desk and he knew what I wanted to do, he was able to identify them for me. And then, I would go and apply for them. But I could just remember being on Penn's campus, freshman year, sophomore year, finding, going into the library, trying to find grants and scholarships that were renewable, so that as long as you kept your grades up, you would know you would get that money year in and year out. So he's doing a wonderful thing. I love the fact that they update that app every single week to make sure it has the latest and greatest when it comes to scholarships. So for those of you who have college-bound students out there that you may be concerned about the financials of it, there's a resource out there that is just a matter of downloading the app. You could pay for a month or you could pay up to a year. It's up to you, but you'll be able to find a way to send that precious child of yours on to higher education. So shout out to Mr. Christopher Gray for coming up with Scholly.
That picture though that I chose is actually
that was Shark Tank.
Yeah. Yep. So when you said, I was like, that was perfect.
That worked out well. Absolutely. Cool beans.
Look, I'm like, can we get our student loan paid off? Let me. Does he have an app for that?
That's probably the next level.
That would be amazing. I love it. I'm going to definitely download that and share that.
Yeah.
That's a great resource to have in your back pocket when you're talking to the young people. Say, nope, I'm not going to college because, oh yes, you are. Absolutely. And this is how we're going to finance you.
It works for adult learners too, because if you've already had gone to college, you do cap on your financial aid through FAFSA. So sometimes you can do the grad plus loans and things like that. But if you can't do that or you don't qualify, then this app would still help adult learners or for people who want to continue their education too. So that's
absolutely
no
excuse.
No excuse.
And remember the theme, back to business. So go ahead and pick up them school books. Go ahead, fill out your FAFSA. Go ahead to the financial aid office. Look, pack your patience, especially if you're going to an HBCU. Pack your patience. But you better get back to business, okay? But that, on a serious note, like, you're never too old to start learning and to start school. Like, if that is a dream of yours, a goal of yours, please go do it, because there is room for you, and apparently there is money for you too. I love it. So what you got, Naomi? I know you said I know you got a few, but you got one more before we talk about us.
Okay, let me see which one I'm gonna do. Okay. So yeah, I only had 3, so it's not like I had a long list of things, but okay, I'll do this one, and I think I'm gonna do this one because it's unique. So this one it's called Fair Oaks Food. I'm gonna put the picture up. Fair Oaks Food, and the CEO of this company. What is his name? Let me pull it up. Did I put it down here? Lord help me. Okay, well, let me just, his name is Michael L. Thompson. There you go. Michael L. Thompson is the president and CEO of Fair Oaks Food. And the reason why I pulled this one up, because I feel like there's not a lot of information out there about Black-owned farms and food industry companies. And we are usually told that these companies and farmlands are owned primarily by other races, and I'll just leave it like that. But it's good to know that there are African Americans out there who own land, who own farmland. So let me just tell you about it. Fair Oaks Food began their story in 1985 during a time when the world's largest fast food restaurant searched for a supplier that further reflected the demographics of their customer base. So, it's kind of hard, because if you are in an area or a demographic where there's predominantly African American, and then you're purchasing from companies that don't reflect that, it's kind of hard. You kind of feel like they're unrelatable. They're not relatable. So a search to find an existing minority-owned and operated meat processing business proved unsuccessful. Fair Oaks Foods was created to fill a gap in an industry that was in crucial need of diversity and growth. And so Michael L. Thompson, he's the president and the CEO of Fair Oaks Food. Prior to Fair Oaks Food, he worked for McDonald's, and then he had a passion to continue in the industry. And so they call him Mike. Mike acquired the majority ownership of Fair Oaks Food, guided by his insightful leadership ability and sharp business insight. Mike has achieved great success since taking the helm of the company. And I think he took it over in 2003. I think that's what it says. As an advocate for diversity, Mike continues to stand as a benchmark for minority businesses, maintaining Fair Oaks Food as a certified minority business enterprise. So that is Mike there. He's the CEO of Fair Oaks Foods, and they distribute food. They're expanding into the international market. They're expanding into the supply meat protein products market, and they are the world's leading restaurant and grocery stores distributor. So that is amazing. And these types of things you don't get to see every day highlighted. But I think it's important to know that you can be creative in the type of business that you do. So maybe it's not just an office job you're looking for. He saw the need for diversity in food distribution. So there you have it.
I love it. And just doing some digging and some research, it looks like there's another Michael Thompson that works for the company, and I'm assuming that's his son. So
yes, yeah,
I love that's the blessing, one of the blessings of business, that you can leave an inheritance, right? And create opportunities not only for your employees, but for your family members. And how awesome is that for them to be able to work side by side? So
creating a family dynasty.
That's right. That's right.
And what I love on their website is, you know how they introduce the staff. They don't just have staff; they have it labeled family, and then underneath it has team, and you know. So I think that's so cool to have that dynamic. That was a good point, Kadesha.
I love it. I love it.
I got a feeling y'all must be hungry because y'all bringing up these food.
I'm always hungry. Y'all know that.
But I'm about to say, I mean, you know, hungry is like my middle name. So I'm sitting here thinking about food now. So
oh my gosh, homie.
It wasn't planned though, but it
wasn't.
I love it.
So I know we're supposed to highlight some other businesses, yes?
Yeah.
Which would be our businesses, ladies. Okay. We are business owners too, ladies and gent. If you didn't know, we do more than just inspire and laugh with you online. So yeah, we wanted to tell you a little bit about our businesses, and maybe, you know, just kind of talk through some of the struggles and victories, and, you know, just kind of the entrepreneurship journey, because all of us has been on it for a while now. So Miss Adams, you want to go? Tell us what you do.
I'll go ahead then. Well, I am the founder and owner of Life Now Enterprises, LLC. And life is spelled with a Y, and it stands for living your finest existence now. And the key word is now. You know, my focus is trying to help people get rid of that phrase, someday when. You know, people say, I'll take that vacation someday when I'm retired, or someday when my kids are out of school. It's always in the future. But I try to help families and individuals create a strategy, a financial strategy, to be able to do things that you enjoy now. Because as we know, I mean, just listen to the news. Tomorrow's not promised. No, neither one of us knows when our last day is here. So why not enjoy your life while you're here today? So I so love what I do. I mean, most people know me for the financial aspects of it, in terms of I do personal money coaching with individuals, with couples, again, putting that financial strategy together, trying to help them make their money work harder for them than they have to work for their money. In addition to the money coaching, I also do seminars and workshops, whether it's on the money management piece, budgeting, credit, debt, couples and money, in addition to entrepreneurship. But alongside of the financial piece and the entrepreneurship piece of everything, I also have products. I have a book that I authored with Jack Canfield of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. The book is entitled Success Starts Today, and thank God it became a Amazon bestseller. I also have my financial proverbs cards. I always say a financial proverb a day keeps the poverty away. And y'all know me, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So it's like, it seems like God drops these ideas in my spirit. And if they stay there long, they marinate. And the next thing you know, I have a product or service that I'm offering. A couple things that are coming up. One of them is a prayer focused mastermind group for entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, because when you think about the things that we have to do as entrepreneurs, prayer becomes really an integral part of it. And then another thing is on networking. There are a lot of other things that y'all know I have and I do, but I want to give y'all a chance to share as well. So I'm not just your numbers girl, your money girl. There are some other things as well. So anybody need lunch and learns at your place of business where you want to learn about money while you're munching on your lunch, I'm your girl. So go ahead, you two, take over.
I love that. But it's like, and as you were talking, I'm like, that differently able is us as entrepreneurs. Like we see things differently. We see a problem, we think of solutions. We see a gap and it's like, we're going to fill the gap. But that's how, if you're open, God will give you all these business ideas like he has done Naomi, and done myself. So I'm like, yes, y'all better hire her.
Hey.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you talked about poverty. You talked about, you definitely was talking about lingo there for me. Just living my best life as your best-selling realtor and encourager, where I'm able to help people overcome those hurdles. I believe that God has really anointed me for business. Thank you, Warrior Nation, for the shirt. But it's like, I'm able to kind of help people think through creatively on how to obtain home ownership. There's no one way, right? Everybody's different. Everybody's financial situation is different. Everybody's credit story is different. And so if you're open to creative strategies, then God has definitely blessed me in that regard, starting with my own home. And so, just helping people take non-traditional routes to home ownership, right? And if traditional works, then God bless it. But if it doesn't, we're going to put our heads together and we're going to figure it out. And so I'm really enjoying that. And as I'm doing that, I'm able to, and God will bring a lot of first-time home buyers and first-time homeowners, but first in the family, and people who are really like, I don't know what to do. So I'm able to do that, but also help people who are a little bit more established and who are now on the investing side of things. And so just planting those seeds that once you get your first home, let's not stop there. Let's be like Alisha and have those multiple streams of income, that passive income. And so working with investors, and also a part of another threesome, TriQuest Investment Properties, where we are buying and fixing and flipping homes here in the city of Baltimore. And we are working with private lenders. God has blessed us that we, again, have not had to use banks and don't have to use hard money lenders. But instead of making these big businesses bigger, we can make small people big and use their money and bring them a return on interest. And so, I feel like I'm living a dream, honestly, because this was a deferred dream, but although deferred, not delayed. And so I feel very blessed. And so, similar to Alisha, workshops, seminars, teaching, that's what all three of us do in one form or fashion. It doesn't matter the industry. But what I love also what Alisha said, and I know that the three of us do, is we're able to combine our faith with our business. Like, it doesn't matter where we are. We're still using wisdom and biblical principles to make business decisions. And so that's a bit of what I do with my clients and my investors. And I'm excited. I'm ready to make my millions and my billions. I had to say that for
billions. I love it. I just
Yes.
get excited hearing both of you tell your stories, and what I love about each one of our stories is evolution, how we've each evolved in where we started and where we are now. And that's kind of my story, that I started out in one career and changed my career. I worked for the federal government. I was there for 17 years and grateful for that opportunity, and was able to climb that ladder fairly quickly. When I left, I had a chance to be a team lead and such. So when it was time to go, it was time to go. Myself and my husband were in agreement. So in 2018, excuse me, I left my job and started Be Inspired Global. So I'm going to give you a little idea of what we do. Mhm. So that is our professional splash. We are a media company. We are actually a family owned and operated media startup, and we are also a media conglomerate. So we have different aspects of our company, and we stand on the principles of faith, family, and community. You will see that plastered on everything, on all of our media material, all of our promotional material: faith, family, and community. And our mission is to create inspirational content that the people you love can trust and enjoy with their families. And also, our services include high quality podcast production like the one you are seeing here, and media consulting. And so I'm excited because the business has evolved over the years. There have been a lot of people who have watched our company evolve. Media production, there's so many people in that market, but you have to find your niche. And for us, we found it with the whole idea of faith, family, and community, and also working with veterans. And because my husband is a veteran, the door has opened for us to work with veteran companies. And so that's where we have really been very successful. So I'm excited, looking for the next phase. For me, I have a background in journalism and media. I actually worked for Monarch magazine. I'm gonna show you a cover of the magazine for one of the interviews that I actually did. So this is the cover. Jeffrey Wright. I actually did the article, the cover story article. I interviewed him. And I had a blast. He told me that his aunt was also named Naomi. And so it was just a pleasure to just have a chance to work in that field before I even got a chance to really fully develop my company. But yep, Be Inspired Global Media Network, Media Group, all that good stuff. Just happy to have the opportunity to be an entrepreneur.
Wow. Can't y'all see Naomi and the crew on? I'm just telling you, it's gonna be your own faith channel. It's like it's gonna be that inspirational, uplift gotta move over, BET gotta move over, TV1 gotta move over because y'all coming. And we're ready. I can just see it.
Thank you.
So we have a few minutes left. I mean, anything 6 minutes. And Dougie Fresh is on. I guess I don't know. I'm just tired and just in rare form tonight. But so 6 minutes remaining. What would you like to share, like to the aspiring entrepreneurs, or maybe even those that didn't even know they were entrepreneurs? Because truth be told, I was actually talking to a previous guest. I was a Win Wisdom Talk guest yesterday, and she is launching her business as a result of some seeds that we planted while she was on here. So, people never know that entrepreneurship could be brewing, right? So, I mean, what would you just kind of say to some of the aspiring, or maybe even those who don't even know that they're entrepreneurs yet?
For me, when I'm teaching entrepreneurship, there's two things that I say. First and foremost, do what you love and the money will follow. Oftentimes people set out to just make the millions or the billions. They focus on the money. And yeah, you can make the money, but I think it needs to be a concerted effort of doing something you enjoy. Why make money and do something that's stressful or could even be short-lived? You're chasing just the dollar, and that might be there today and gone tomorrow. And now what do you do? So I say, do what you love and the money will follow, but also do what you love and you'll never work another day in your life. And what I mean by that, not that you won't work, but what you're doing doesn't feel like work. And I don't know about you, well, I do know about y'all and that you really love what you do. I mean, it could be a blessing and a curse, and that when you really love what you do, you could get so engrossed in it that you kind of lose track of time. But, if you're enjoying it, it just makes it that much better. And I think your passion comes across to the individuals that you serve. You're not looking at them as dollar signs. You're looking at them because you enjoy what you do and you're really doing it to serve them and take them to another level. And I know that's something that the three of us do. So if I could give one piece of advice, is that, and then one last thing, multiple streams of income. When you find something that you enjoy doing, also find other streams as well, because if something happens in the economy and that business piece right there gets kind of what's the word, clogged, for lack of a better word, because of what's going on in the economy, you don't want to lose your business. At least you'll have this other income coming in to be able to still sustain you in the midst of it all. So I'll say those two things and then pass it on to you two.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use an acronym like you always do, Alisha. But the word ask, right? Ask. So the first one is first you gotta allow yourself to have this experience. A lot of times we feel like I have this 9 to 5. I don't think I'll ever be able to do it. I don't think I'll ever be able to disconnect from it. When I left my job in 2018, and as I was leaving and I told people, they were like, I don't know how you found the courage to do that. Do you know how many people are sitting on business ideas, but they won't allow themselves to have that experience? So first, I want you to know that you are allowed to have a business idea and step out on it and do it. Don't allow your current circumstances or otherwise to be a limitation to you. The second thing, or the second letter in the acronym, is search. Search. What you want to do is start to look up other similar businesses, or people who have done it, who've stepped out on faith. Whatever the case is, go to the Small Business Association, SBA.gov. Go and look at these different places to find the information that you need. Because when you start to do that, you'll start to feel empowered that you can actually go out and start your business. And a lot of times we don't do it because we don't have the knowledge or the information. And then the last one, the K in ask, is just to keep going, because you're going to get to a point where you're in this journey to start your business. You're going to have naysayers. You're going to have other circumstances that might pop up in your life that tell you you can't do this. But I want to encourage you to keep going. So that's just ask. You're going to allow yourself to have this experience. You're going to search for the information you need. And then once you get started, keep going, honey. Keep going. Like, just keep going. Dory from, what was the movie called? I can't even remember now. But just keep going. Just keep going. Don't give up, guys.
I love it. I love it. Those were some good tidbits, some good wisdom nuggets, as we call them. The only two things I will say would be just to respect the process. And I think we want to shorten it at times, but when you shorten the process, it's like you avoid the development, right? You avoid the training, you avoid all the lessons that come with it. And then lastly, Naomi, you had actually said the word, I believe, change. And I think it's just being courageous enough to make change in so many areas, right? Particularly in your mind, because I'm definitely a firm believer that you can do anything if you believe, right? So it's all mindset first and then mastery, right? So it really is changing your mind, changing your surrounding, like changing your community. A lot of times we want to stay where we are, right? But if people around you have never been entrepreneurs, never been millionaires, never been billionaires, how will you become that if you're not around, So change is inevitable, and we have to just be okay with change. So That's been blessing me, and then prayerfully that bless y'all. But somehow we done got to the end of the show. I feel like we just getting started. But we hope that you had enjoyed the last hour. We appreciate you for tuning in this Thursday at 8 p.m. We'll be here next week, same time. We're so grateful for Naomi's company because they produce this show every week, honey, and it's not an easy task at all. So we appreciate you and all that you do. So this episode and every other episode of When Wisdom Talks is brought to you by Wisdom on the Wall Inc. and Be Inspired Global. We love you. We hope to see you next week. In the interim, stay safe, stay blessed, stay in faith, and get back to business.
See ya.